the obstacle that people have to get over in thinking about 70 is the focus, now many centuries, even millennia old, that you think about it in terms of the destruction of the temple. And as if that was the thing. And the answer to that is that, well, where the Jews, in the old days, people of, scholars of liberal temperament would say, well, sacrifice, they fat. They weren't really so interested in it anyway. The temple was not so important. And, so its loss was no big deal. And for some people, that was presumably true. I think if you're living in a Jew living in a town in Asia Minor, the destruction of the temple is, when you hear about it, you may feel, oh, rats, that was bad. Our lives will never be the same. But in reality, that fact alone is going to have relatively little impact on the texture of your daily life, including the Jewish aspects of your daily life. It may not have all that much of an impact. Where it does matter is that basically it's part of a complete reshaping, a complete reorganization of life in this province. You went from this complex system of late Second Temple period Jewish life in Palestine with this huge temple complex sucking in all these resources and enriching all these people around it, and completely altering the economic structure, the social structure, the religious structure. My argument about sectarianism was that its proliferation in the first century is actually a direct result of this. You now have large numbers of clerics, of people whose livelihoods depend on the income that they derive from their connection to the temple establishment, and they're pious. Of course, they're pious, and they sit there thinking about Yomam Lalila every day and night, all day and all night. They sit and think about holy things, and these are the sectarians. These are people who are professionally pious, and they're a large portion of the population. If we take Josephus' numbers seriously, which I would normally warn one not to, but here heuristically they make sense. They're supported by Philo. We're talking about a large segment of the male population of Judea, the district Judea, not the province Judea, the district Judea, which has a sectarian affiliation, and that's entirely, in my view, the direct result of the weird structure of the economy of early Roman Palestine, and the impact of the Herodian construction in Jerusalem, of the Pax Romana, of the rise of the pilgrimage economy, which is made possible by the Pax Romana, among other things. And, when 70 comes, the temple is destroyed, and everything else is swept away along with it. The Romans sweep everything away, clean sweep. They don't destroy all the Jewish population. A lot of people do die. Josephus says 1.1 million in the entire rebellion, which is, of course, a complete impossibility. And he says 97,000 people were taken captive. Not a complete impossibility, in fact. And also a number which is more likely to come from a source than the 1.1 million, because, of course, captives were commodities, so there were records of them since they were commodities. So that's a possible number. So we're talking about large demographic change, but also we are now living in a mainstream imperial province. The biggest thing that people just totally forget about, expropriation of all Jewish land. Now, people say, there's a tradition in scholarship of saying, well, only of people who rebelled, of Jews who rebelled. That's the only land that gets expropriated. But remember that when Cestius Gallus was chased out of Judea, out of Jerusalem, in the year 66, Roman rule came to an end in Palestine. And from that point on, any Jew who wasn't openly and vociferously and officially and explicitly pro-Roman was a rebel. So who was excluded? The population of Sepphoris. That was it. The population of Sepphoris remained loyal to Rome. The entire rest of the country, the Jewish part of the country, was not loyal to Rome. They're all rebels. All their land gets taken away. Josephus' land gets taken away. What happens to land that's expropriated? Presumably any land which has any potential at all is snapped up by Roman senators. That's why we find Roman senators turning up in the Baphtha papyri as landowners. Amazing. Senators were people who owned land scattered through all the Roman provincial system. So this in itself is a massive social change and a massive economic change. Um, 70.